told the jury that the freak-offs made her feel disgusting and humiliated and worthless.
She did say these freak-offs lasted between 1 and 4 days, and it would take her an equal amount of time to get her body recovered, to rehydrate, to rest.
Well, I think we're going to learn a lot about the nature of Cassie's relationship with Diddy.
Cassie Ventura just named Christina Korm as keeping tabs on her for Diddy.
A hidden freak-off ledger, hush money NDAs, and a hotel punch no one expected. Day one of the Sean Diddy Combs trial blew the courtroom doors wide open. May 12th. 2025 in Manhattan federal court. Prosecutors waste zero time. They brand Diddy the CEO of a criminal enterprise, outlining racketeering, trafficking by coercion, and money laundering charges that could lock him away for life.
Second thing that was discussed this morning, will the public, will the media be able to see video of these freaks?
Witnesses were called today, including a former security officer at the hotel, where Diddy is seen on video attacking Ventura brutally. You remember that video back in 2016. The prosecutors played the video. The witness testified that Diddy tried to pay him off with a giant wad of cash. The day's second witness was a male escort. This is where it really got very juicy, who says that he was paid by Diddy numerous times to have sex with Cassie while Diddy sat there in the corner, masturbating and watched. He says he once saw Diddy throw a liquor bottle at Cassie and heard him beating her in another.
The defense shoots back, calling the case messy, not criminal, and warning jurors to separate tabloid gossip from real evidence. The mood is electric. First witness, former escort Daniel Phillip. He testifies that he recruited models for invite-only freak-offs, handing each guest a cash envelope and an NDA before their phones were sealed in a safe. The jury scribbles notes. Next, hotel security officer Israel Flores describes a 2016 surveillance tape that allegedly shows Diddy punching a woman outside a Miami suite. The video exists, but the judge won't let anyone see it until the chain of custody is airtight. An instant cliffhanger. Lead attorney Mark Agnifilo rises for the defense, calling the witnesses influencers chasing headlines. He insists every encounter was consensual and that any cash was paid for privacy, not silence. Prosecutors counter with a PowerPoint of jet tail numbers, wire transfers, and burner phones. Their mantra: follow the flights, follow the money, follow the crime. Pens race across juror notepads. Day one ends on that note, and a promise. Tomorrow, a very pregnant Cassie Ventura takes the stand. Day two is about to get personal. Hit subscribe so you don't miss a second. A swollen belly, shaking hands, and text messages that read like SOS flares. Day two belonged entirely to Cassie Ventura, and it turned the courtroom into a confessional. May 13th, 2025. Cassie walks in 8 months pregnant, every juror's eyes locked on her. Prosecutors open with a single image. A 2009 diary page where Cassie wrote, "I'm scared 24/7. The hook is set. She starts at the beginning. Age 19, signed to bad boy. Flattered, then isolated. Within months, she says she was attending Diddy-organized freak-offs. Phones surrendered, cash envelopes on the table. Her voice cracks but never breaks. Next, the studio hallway incident. Cassie describes Diddy slamming her head into a wall after she texted a male friend. Prosecutors show jurors a dated photo. Bruise, hairline cut, no makeup. Gasps ripple across the gallery. She reads a text Diddy allegedly sent the same night. "Don't forget who owns you." A prosecutor asks, "Did you feel owned?" Cassie, "Every day." Then the kicker. Miami yacht episode 2015. Cassie testifies Diddy tossed 2 assistants' phones overboard before forcing her into a cabin with 3 strangers. She calls it the longest hour of my life. The courtroom is silent except for her breathing. Defense objects, calling the story unverifiable. But the judge lets it stand and recesses early, citing emotional fatigue. Day 2 ends with jurors visibly shaken. Tomorrow, Cassie returns for part 2, deeper, darker, and under oath. Make sure you're here for every word. Day 3 felt more like a diary reading than a courtroom proceeding, because Cassie Ventura brought her private messages, her private photos, and her private panic straight to the jury box. May 14th, 2025. Cassie retakes the stand, clutching a binder of screenshots. First up, the yacht night texts. She narrates a string of frantic iMessages. He took my phone. Can't get out. Please call me back. All timestamped the same hour she says Diddy forced her into a cabin with 3 strangers. The jurors lean forward in perfect sync. Next, prosecutors roll out the $50K envelope story. Cassie testifies she watched aides hand guests thick white envelopes after every freak off. She never touched the cash, she just memorized the totals. It was hush money, she says. Defense counsel objects. Speculation. But Judge Subramanian allows the phrase, telling the jury to judge credibility for themselves. Then the physical evidence. 3 photos, 3 years apart, bruised arm, swollen lip, blackout bruise along her jawline. Cassie says each picture paired with a promise that a love gift would make it better. The gallery is silent. Finally, the emotional gut punch. Cassie recounts the night she signed a 6-figure NDA just to stop. In her words, the screaming in my head. Prosecutors rest. Cassie exhales. Day 3 closes with the courtroom drained. Tomorrow, the defense cross-examines, hoping to poke holes in a story that just got terrifyingly detailed. Don't blink. Day 4 could flip everything. Day 4 turned the trial into a duel of stories. One told by a defense lawyer, the other by a very pregnant Cassie Ventura who refused to flinch. Mark Agnifilo started fast. Why, he asked, did Cassie's journals skip the 3-month European tour in 2013 if life with Diddy was so dangerous? Cassie answered that fear doesn't run on a calendar. Agnifilo flashed affectionate 2014 texts. Miss you, babe. And argued they proved a willing romance. Cassie called them trauma bonding, words typed to survive, not to love. Then came the $500,000 settlement she accepted 2 years ago. The defense painted it as hush money. Cassie called it rent for my silence. Cash that never healed bruises. Jurors next saw the 5-page NDA she signed the same night. Cassie said she was panicking. Defense insisted she negotiated calmly with lawyers. Agnifilo hinted she's angling for a blockbuster memoir. Cassie shrugged. If telling the truth sells, so be it. When questioning veered toward victim blaming, Judge Subramanian cut in, reminding everyone that consent obtained through fear is no consent at all. After an hour of parries and jabs, Cassie stepped down still intact, the jury unconvinced but visibly unsettled. Tomorrow brings Dawn Richard, ex-Danity Kane member, who claims she once saw Diddy swing a frying pan. Momentum could shift again in a single blow. Day 5 kicked off with pop star Deja Vu. Dawn Richard, former Danity Kane singer and one-time bad boy protege, took the stand and dropped a frying pan bomb. She testified that during a 2009 studio argument, she saw Diddy hurl a cast iron skillet at Cassie, then chase her through a hallway while assistants froze. Richard said she quit the label weeks later because fear moved in and music moved out. The prosecution followed with Richard's emailed studio logs, time-stamped the same night, backing her timeline. Next came Cassie's brief redirect. Prosecutors asked just 2 questions. Did the frying pan incident happen? Cassie: yes. Did she report it? I was told a police report meant no career. The exchange lasted 90 seconds but landed harder than any cross-exam. Then, audio. Prosecutors played a muffled 2016 security recording. Cassie crying, Diddy shouting, a slam, then silence. Defense objected, calling the clip prejudicial background noise. Judge Subramanian disagreed, ruling the jury could weigh tone and terror even if words were unclear. For a final Friday twist, prosecutors called a flight log analyst who traced the same Gulfstream tail number from New York to Miami to LA on the exact dates of Cassie's diary entries. The pattern matched the cash envelope schedule Daniel Phillip described on day 1, knitting the week's testimony together. Court adjourned at 4:30. The judge told jurors, no Googling, no podcasts, just fresh air. But everyone left knowing Monday brings the tech forensics agent who cloned Diddy's phones. Week 2 ended with the skillet still ringing in everyone's ears. Day 6 opened a brand new playbook, tech forensics and best friend receipts. First up, Carrie Morgan, Cassie's longtime confidant. She told jurors she once saw Diddy drag Cassie down a hotel hallway by her hair in 2006 like luggage, then lock her inside a suite for hours. Morgan said she texted Cassie nonstop that night and saved every message because I knew one day she'd need proof. Those texts, time-stamped, geotagged, unedited, flashed on courtroom screens next. They synced almost minute for minute with Cassie's diary entries the jury saw last week. Same dates, same dread. Momentum shifted to hard evidence. Enter Special Agent Paula Nguyen, digital forensics lead. She outlined how Homeland Security cloned 14 phones and 3 iPads seized during last year's raids. Metadata showed Diddy's Gulfstream jet hopping New York, Miami, Los Angeles in perfect lockstep with the freak-off calendar escort Daniel Phillips sketched on day 1. Nguyen also traced 22 wire transfers, each under $10,000, to shell companies prosecutors say paid party guests. The defense-attacked chain of custody, were the devices ever left unattended? Nguyen coolly displayed tamper evidence seals and audit logs. Judge Subramanian overruled each objection, telling jurors, evidence stands. By late afternoon, the prosecution's jigsaw looked nearly complete. Testimony, texts, travel logs, and money trails snapping together. Court adjourned with Agent Nguyen still on the stand, poised to dive into encrypted chats first thing Tuesday. Week 2 ends on a digital cliffhanger. Tomorrow could expose the private messages Diddy hoped were unreadable.
And remember Carrie Morgan, when she first got on the stand, talking about how she didn't even want to be here, but she's been subpoenaed, so she has to testify, but she's glad to be away from these people and their problems.
Welcome back to Unfiltered by Ems. My name is Russell. Let's begin. A $20,000 wire, a home equity loan, and a Vegas selfie that cost more than a semester at Harvard. Welcome to day 7 of the Diddy circus. Cassie's mum, Regina Ventura, steps up first. She waves a Wells Fargo receipt like it's a golden ticket and tells jurors, Diddy demanded 20 grand to keep my daughter's private videos private, so I mortgaged my kitchen.
Carrie Morgan, the former friend of Cassie Ventura, who said that once Sean Diddy Combs assaulted her, their friendship stopped. So what did she say about that particular assault? She said that she was at her house, that Combs had come over demanding that she tell him who Cassie was cheating on him.
The jury blinks. The defense face palms. Next witness, ex-assistant David James, thinks Siri with PTSD. He swears Diddy once forced Cassie to FaceTime her mum so she could see the bruises were still fresh. James deadpans. I took the screenshot, HR wasn't an option. Those bruise photos hit the monitors. Cassie's ribs look like modern art. Regina tears up. One juror rubs his temple like the migraine just arrived. Defense lawyer Mark Agnifilo pounces. Mrs. Ventura, aren't you just here for a book deal? Regina fires back. If I wanted a bestseller, I'd write recipes for raising fearless daughters. Crowd control, please. Judge Subramanian bangs the gavel, reminds everyone that credibility beats theatrics. But even he can't hide the eye roll when Agnifilo compares $20K hush money to parental paranoia.
To you, George. And for those 2 days, Cassie Ventura told the jury here that Sean Combs' frequent beatings, humiliating threats, and incessant sexual demands left her drug-addicted, psychologically damaged, and...
Court adjourns with one last grenade. Prosecutors flash a teaser slide. FBI raid photos, baby oil stash, gold pistol slide, Apple Pay trail. Translation: tomorrow we tour Star Island, and the souvenirs are search warrants. Buckle up. Welcome to Day 8, aka MTV Cribs Federal Raid Edition, where agents turn Diddy's Star Island mansion into a Costco receipt gone wild. Homeland Security's agent Gerard Gannon walks in like a proud realtor and cues slide number 1. 43 bottles of baby oil, neatly alphabetized. Who knew lubrication had a filing system? Slide number 2, a gold pistol slide tucked next to Louis Vuitton loafers. The jury's eyebrows do synchronized yoga. Then comes the money map. Gannon overlays Diddy's black Amex charges on a flight chart. Miami to Vegas, $18,000 at Silk & Chains Lingerie. Same day a Gulfstream tail number lands. Coincidence? The prosecutors smile like they just solved Wordle in one guess. Enter former aide George Kaplan, the human Swiffer. He testifies he once spent 3 hours wiping Gatorade, baby oil, and brown powder off a hotel headboard before housekeeping arrived. Juror number 6 actually mouths, brown powder? Not weird enough. Ex-chef Raul Hernandez testifies the boss loved applesauce on cheeseburgers. Defense objects. Relevance. Judge Subramanian shrugs. Character evidence. Bad taste counts. To seal the vibe, a forensic psychologist explains trauma bonding, saying Cassie's texts match the cycle perfectly. Defense tries to label it pop psych TikTok. The doc reminds them she has 3 PhDs and no TikTok. Day 8 ends with a teaser. Tomorrow, Kid Cudi and the Molotov Porsche. If today was aisle 6 of Diddy's raid Costco, tomorrow's the fireworks section. Bring marshmallows. Kid Cudi strolls into court wearing more chill than the air conditioning and drops this opening line: "My Porsche didn't just blow itself up." Instantly, the gallery turns into a live meme. He reads an old text from Diddy, big screen, 48-point font: "I'll blow that car up." Juror number 2's jaw literally resets 3 times. Next up, LAPD detective Olivia Rojas confirms a 2011 break-in at Cudi's Hollywood home. Nothing stolen, front door kicked in, 1 note left behind. Just the middle finger emoji sketched in Sharpie. Prosecutors call it a message, defense calls it fan art, jury calls it creepy. Then the fire chief takes the stand to describe the 2012 Molotov cocktail that turned Cudi's Porsche into a creme brulee on wheels. He lists the accelerants, ends with, "Same brand found in Mr. Combs's Miami garage." You could hear a ringtone and it wasn't even on. Defense scrambles, flashes old tweets where Cudi jokes, "I'm so hot my car might combust." Nice try. Judge says tweets aren't TNT. Prosecutors finish by cueing a surveillance clip. Hooded figure, lighter in hand. Porsche whooshes. They freeze frame on the explosion. Cudi whispers, "That's her." One juror crosses himself. Court adjourns, but not before prosecutors tease tomorrow's witness. Former assistant Capricorn Clark, who claims she heard Diddy yell, "I'll kill Kid Cudi myself." Day 10 could be lethal, for somebody's credibility. Stay tuned, we're only halfway through the fireworks. Court opens and in struts Capricorn Clark, Diddy's ex-assistant, rocking a blazer so sharp the gallery squints. She drops her first bomb. "He kicked in my door at 3 a.m, waving a Glock and screaming he'd kill Kid Cudi." The stenographer actually stops typing to look up. Clark produces Exhibit A, a 2014 iPhone, screen spiderwebbed, buttons smashed. She tells jurors Diddy shattered it after catching Cassie texting help. Then, cash bandage, he slid $5,000 under her hotel door. Jury count of raised eyebrows, 11 out of 12. Next, prosecutors roll the now legendary phone smash video. Grainy hallway cam, Diddy slams Cassie's phone, storms off. Defense objects it's low-res theatrics. Judge Subramanian, "The pixels are clear enough for this court." Ouch. For dessert, Clark confirms Dawn Richards' frying pan tale from day 5, says she iced Cassie's head with a frozen bag of peas while Diddy ordered champagne. The prosecutor asks, "Were peas standard medical care in that house?" Clark fires back, "Only after cookware injuries?" Jury laughter with one horrified gasp. Defense finally erupts, accusing Clark of selling stories to tabloids. She deadpans, "Tabloids don't tip this well." Courtroom snickers. Agnefoilo turns the shade of his tie. He pivots to a Hail Mary mistrial motion. "Prejudicial circus, Your Honor." Judge Subramanian slams the gavel. Denied. Day 10 ends with prosecutors fist-bumping and the defense rifling through a thesaurus for new objections. Tomorrow, stylists, shredded fingerprints, and maybe a miracle for Team Diddy, because they'll need one. Court kicks off with celebrity stylist Deontay Nash looking like he just stepped off a Vogue shoot. First sentence, "Cassie's blood hit my sneakers and Diddy laughed." 5 jurors flinch in unison. Nash paints the scene. Kick, punch, scalp split, crimson on the salon floor. He says Diddy bragged, "No one's gonna believe you, pretty boy." The gallery believes him plenty. Then prosecutor number 2 whips out the party from hell checklist. Late night freak-offs, burner phones, leaked tape threats. Nash nods like he's reciting brunch specials. Defense looks seasick. Enter arson specialist Lance Jimenez for the Kid Cudi Porsche saga. Halfway through his PowerPoint he mumbles, "Oh, those fingerprint cards? Destroyed years ago." Defense attorney Mark Agnefoilo nearly levitates. He shouts mistrial, so loud the mic peaks. Judge Subramanian adjusts his glasses, delivers the courtroom equivalent of "bless your heart," and says, "Motion denied. Jurors, pretend you never heard about those prints." Translation, "Nice try, sit down." The defense then cross-examines Nash into oblivion, drilling timelines until 2 jurors roll their eyes so hard they almost file for workers' comp. Nash ends the session by roasting the lawyer's jacket. Probably not in your size. Gallery erupts. Judge bangs gavel, smirking. Before adjournment, prosecutors casually announce they're 1 week ahead of schedule and will unveil a shielded witness called Mia tomorrow. The lights dim, white noise machines hum, and a backlit silhouette glides in. Meet Mia, the shielded witness prosecutors warned would haunt this case. She begins with house rules straight out of a dystopian handbook. No phone, no eye contact before 10 a.m, sex on demand, call him daddy or leave in cuffs. Juror number 8 visibly shudders. Then the nuke. Mia says Diddy raped her in 2010, filmed it, and labeled the file insurance. When she tried to leave, he streamed the clip on the mansion's living room TV and whispered, "Run and I'll make you famous." You could hear the stenographer's keys stall. Defense lawyer Xavier Donaldson tries to rattle her. Why no police report? Mia's silhouette tilts. He was the police in that house. Two jurors nod involuntarily. Prosecutor cues a digital forensics slide, folder tree titled Insurance, with subfolders Cassie and Mia and Unknown One. Defense objects, judge lets the file name stand, contents sealed, for now. The jury has imagination, that's plenty. Cross-examination fails to crack her. Donaldson accidentally calls her Sandra. Judge Subramanian fires a laser glare and orders the slip stricken. Mia responds with 7 seconds of silence that feel like a century. Court adjourns, white noise off, normal air returns. Prosecutors grin. They've stitched trauma, tech and terror into one witness. Monday, they promise encrypted chats straight from Diddy's seized phone. If Mia was the ghost, the texts are the footprint. Tune in, day 13 might finally show the monster's handwriting. Mia's silhouette reappears, defense ready to pounce, but she opens with 3 words that freeze the room. He filmed everything. You can almost hear Diddy's lawyers swallow in surround sound. She describes a hard drive nicknamed Insurance, stored in a locked Pelican case. Inside, dozens of clips. Cassie crying, 2 unknown women begging, Mia herself unconscious. Prosecutors flash a directory tree. Insurance, 2010, cabana.mp4, 2013, panincident.move. No footage shown, but the file names do their own horror work. Juror number 4 grips the armrest so hard his pen snaps. Defense digs. How do you know that was Mr. Combs' drive? Mia smiles. First time we've seen teeth through the privacy screen. Because he made me watch. Mic drop. Donaldson shuffles papers like they're suddenly written in Sanskrit. Next up, tour manager Enrique Santos. He testifies he booked the very Gulfstream tail numbers we've been hearing about. Same days Mia says tapes were shot. He calls those trips party runs and admits Amex bills marked lotion and lighting hit $42,000. Gallery chuckles. Judge tells them, save the comedy, this is tragedy. Prosecutors then roll in LAPD detective Alma Flores, who matches raw GPS data from seized phones to those flights. Chain of custody looks bulletproof. Defense sighs like someone just unplugged their Wi-Fi. With momentum rocket boosted, the government announces, we may rest a week early. Judge nods. July 4th verdict suddenly feels like tomorrow. Court breaks for the long weekend. Scoreboard reads, evidence, mountain, defense, migraine. Next session, encrypted chats straight off Diddy's iCloud. If insurance is bad, imagine the group texts. Popcorn mandatory. A witness says she was dangled from a 17-story balcony. A hotel guard claims a 6-figure hush money offer, and a stranger storms the courtroom shrieking, "You'll pay for your sins," all in 72 hours. The Diddy trial just detonated. The prosecution is done playing chess. Day 14, day 15, day 16. 3 back-to-back sessions that turned a slow-burn case into a full-blown credibility crisis for hip-hop's one-time king. An ex-assistant nicknamed Mia finishes her tear-soaked testimony, while the defense tries and fails to shake her timeline. A hotel security guard says Diddy waved $101,000 cash to erase footage of a brutal assault. And a second witness claims she was literally held over a Miami balcony as a threat. Meanwhile, outside the courthouse, brand deals are collapsing, celebrity friends are ghosting, and prosecutors tease a 3-terabyte digital vault they call the nuclear button. Buckle up, because the next 8 minutes will walk you through every jaw-dropping moment from days 14, 15, and 16, and why insiders now think this case could torch half of Hollywood before July 4th. The morning of June 2nd opens in near silence. Mia, the former assistant testifying under a court-granted alias, clutches the microphone with both hands. She's already told jurors about late-night freak-offs, hidden cameras, and threats of violence if she ever talked. Now, it's the defense's turn. Diddy's lead attorney, Xavier Donaldson, fires rapid-fire questions. Dates, times, hotel floors, anything to expose a slip. But every answer lands steady. Suite 1203, Delano Hotel, February 2017. 2 witnesses present. Jurors jot notes. One visibly winces when Mia mentions being forced to take mystery pills before the party started. Donaldson finally snaps. So you just remember everything perfectly. She pauses, voice cracking. You don't forget fear. The gallery exhales. Judge Subramanian leans forward, eyes the room, and warns there will be zero vocal reactions from spectators, or they'll watch from the hallway. Prosecutors rest Mia's testimony with a single line. "No further questions, Your Honor. Her timeline speaks for itself." And it does. 2 hours of harrowing detail that prosecutors say anchor their entire pattern of abuse narrative. But the day isn't over. As the jury files out, Assistant U.S. Attorney Lara Mendelsohn whispers to reporters, "We're ahead of schedule. Translation, more witnesses sooner, and the defense just lost its chance to paint Mia as unreliable." Next up, day 15 explodes when a random spectator storms the courtroom and a hotel guard claims Diddy tried to pay $100K for silence. June 3rd opens quietly, then detonates. A hotel security veteran named Eddie Garcia steps into the witness box. He handled surveillance at a 5-star property in Beverly Hills back in 2016. Under oath, Garcia claims Sean Combs summoned him to a private suite after an alleged late-night altercation with Cassie Ventura. He pulled out a thick envelope, looked like stacks of hundreds, Garcia testifies. "Told me, 100 grand, the footage disappears tonight." Prosecutors display a scanned cashier's check for $99,500, signed the following day by a Combs-controlled LLC. The defense snaps back. No video, no crime. But Garcia fires a retort that lands like a body blow. "You paid me, I just never cashed it." He hands the jury a photo of the check, still perfectly crisp. Before the room can process that bombshell, pandemonium erupts. A woman in the back row leaps up shouting, "You'll pay for your sins, Sean." US Marshals drag her out as reporters scramble for ID. Judge Subramanian slams his gavel and threatens contempt for anyone who so much as mutters. The jury is ushered out. The gallery sits in stunned silence, cameras clicking in the hallway. When court resumes, the prosecution remains laser-focused. They submit bank statement excerpts tying Combs to multiple six-figure cash withdrawals that same month, hinting this wasn't a one-time payout. Defense counsel objects, the judge overrules. The evidence goes in. By day's end, jurors have heard about hush money, seen an uncashed check, and watched a live meltdown, all before lunch. The tension is so thick, even court clerks avoid eye contact. And still, prosecutors promise something bigger. A witness who says Diddy's threats weren't just verbal, they were vertical. Day 16 brings balcony terror and digital forensics that could shift the entire trial. June 4th, day 16, starts with a hush you can feel in your chest. Prosecutors call Brianna Bongolan, a former party promoter who met Diddy in Miami back in 2019. Her opening line freezes the courtroom. "He hung me off a 17-floor balcony by my wrists and said, 'One word to the cops and you fly.'" Gasps ripple through the gallery before the judge's glare silences everyone. Brianna details a Star Island after-party, loud music, phones confiscated, and a moment when she confronted Combs about an unconscious guest. Diddy's response, she says, was to drag her to the balcony edge, grip both wrists, and dangle her over the surf below. "I could hear waves," she whispers. "I thought I'd die." Defense hammers her timeline. No police report, no medical record. But prosecutors counterpunch with GPS data from Brianna's phone, placing her on Star Island that night, plus a shell company jet manifest showing Combs flew into Miami 6 hours earlier. By recess, 2 storylines dominate, a near-fatal balcony threat and a hard drive vault big enough to bury a career. Reporters tweet furiously, #balcony terror trends worldwide. Inside, Judge Subramanian tightens the gag order, no leaks, no comments or face contempt. Outside the courthouse, panic mode. Brand sponsors freeze deals, and industry insiders whisper, if even a fraction of those 3 terabytes go public, hip-hop's richest empire isn't the only thing falling. The trial is no longer about if a bombshell drops, only when. With balcony terror still echoing through the gallery, day 16 shifts into a strategic knife fight. Day 17 of Sean Diddy Combs' federal sex trafficking and racketeering trial unfolded with heightened tension and pivotal testimonies. Brianna Bongolan, a close friend of Cassie Ventura, faced rigorous cross-examination by defense attorney Nicole Westmoreland. The defense scrutinized Bongolan's allegations that Combs dangled her over a 17th-floor balcony in 2016, suggesting inconsistencies in her timeline and questioning her credibility due to admitted drug use during that period. Bongolan acknowledged attending Combs' events shortly after the alleged incident, which the defense highlighted to challenge her claims of fear and trauma. An anonymous witness, referred to as Jane, took the stand, providing a harrowing account of her relationship with Combs from 2021 to 2024. She described being coerced into drug-fueled sexual encounters known as freak-offs and detailed instances of physical abuse and manipulation. Jane's testimony aims to bolster the prosecution's case by illustrating a pattern of alleged exploitation and control exerted by Combs over multiple women. Day 18 of Sean Diddy Combs' federal trial brought powerful testimony from a key witness identified as Jane. Her emotional account centered on what she described as hotel nights or freak-offs, highly orchestrated, drug-fueled encounters involving male escorts that were allegedly directed and observed by Combs. According to Jane, these sessions were not isolated incidents, often lasting over 24 hours and taking a heavy emotional and physical toll on her. Jane testified that the encounters began consensually but escalated into something much darker. When she tried to stop or slow down, Combs reportedly pressured her to finish strong. She frequently broke down on the stand, revealing that she turned to drugs to numb the trauma and described feelings of isolation and sadness. A critical part of Jane's testimony was her financial dependency on Combs. She claimed to use money and control over her housing to manipulate her into continued compliance, adding to the prosecution's argument that Combs exploited his power to abuse women. Jane's story echoed earlier testimonies, most notably from Cassie Ventura, suggesting a broader pattern of behavior. The prosecution is using these parallels to build a case that Combs systematically used his wealth and influence to exploit and silence victims. The defense, however, maintains that all interactions were consensual and accuses the witnesses of seeking financial gain. They continue to challenge inconsistencies in the accounts. As the trial moves forward, Jane's detailed and emotional testimony stands as a key moment, adding serious weight to the prosecution's narrative. The courtroom now braces for what could be even more damning evidence, as prosecutors hint at further witness revelations and possible digital proof still to come.